That's fine.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's recording. Right. Hi, Kat.
Hi, James. How are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. Apart from just getting over COVID, but apart from that, all good. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. So I thought it was going to be a good idea for our members to be able to see you, hear you talk about your coaching and your background, and give them a bit of an idea more about you, because it's a bit awkward at the moment trying to meet people. So I thought this would be a good vehicle to do that. Before we go into that, I just thought I'd tell the members. Obviously, the rain's been a bit against us at the moment. But we do have the swing room here, which you're welcome to book and use. It is relatively busy today, but there are other opportunities to book. So if you do want to use the swing room, get out the rain, hit a few shots, please do. We're also still doing lessons and bits of that as well. So members, don't hesitate to contact the shop to book that. So, I mean, I tell you what, the good place to start, Kat, and this is something I haven't asked you before. How do you pronounce your surname?
That's a really good question. I normally just say Kat is absolutely fine, but yeah, my surname is Hascheski. So it's a silent C, Hascheski. It's quite straightforward, but obviously when you look at it, it's a jumble of letters that don't look like any sense at all. But
I'm glad I didn't attempt that, because my attempt was way off that. So I would have embarrassed myself sufficiently on that one. So obviously this is for some of our members, this is the first time they've seen you or heard you talk. I've met Kat sporadically over the years at different coaching things. I think I met you at Birmingham University at Edgbaston once.
yes.
When we both started doing a master's course, and I soon realised I was completely out of my depth. But Kat was there, and every time I met Kat, I always thought what a smart and switched on coach she was. So I'm very excited she's agreed to come and join us, and I think it's a great opportunity for our members to really improve their golf. So we're really glad to have you on board. So thanks for joining us. So Kat, tell us a little bit about your background and your background in coaching, how you started golf, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I think I did put some of this information in the introduction that you kindly sent out to all the members, so I won't give too much of that, I won't repeat that, but basically I've been coaching since 2008 on a full-time basis since 2010, yeah, I basically got into golf as most people do, you know, through parents or grandparents. So in my case, it was my dad played golf. I was quite sporty as a child, so I kind of tried all different things, and my dad was in the army, so we did move around quite a lot, so I didn't kind of get a chance to be a sort of junior member. I just kind of went up and had a few lessons at a club in Yorkshire actually at the time, where we were stationed, or my dad was stationed. But we moved abroad. We actually moved to the Middle East. So at that time, there weren't, in the mid 80s, early 80s, there weren't a lot of golf courses in the Middle East. Obviously now it's a huge opportunity to play golf out there. But yeah, so we lived in the Middle East for quite some time, and then I went to boarding school. So I was moving around quite a lot. Ended up sort of doing some traveling in my early 20s, and then kind of came back to the UK. Sort of, I think I was 24 at the time, and it was at that time that I started to think, okay, well, you know, I'd enjoyed sports at school, and it was a really good way for me to meet people. So I joined a club and started playing then. So that was kind of the sort of real proper start, if you like, of my golfing journey. Although I dabbled obviously a little bit as a child. So yeah, I kind of had a career in sort of various office environments. I worked for the police, I worked for the sort of council, and then I went into private sector as a recruitment consultant. And I was just kind of in my mid 30s thinking there's got to be more to life than this, and I started to kind of think about what I might like to do, and that's where my sort of gaze, if you like, sort of started to wander towards coaching, and that's where then I started to look at what do I need to do to become a golf coach, and yeah, I was very lucky to start and be offered a position at Mid Sussex Golf Club, which is just north of Brighton. If you don't know it, it's a really nice little parkland course, and that's basically where I started my training. I was very fortunate to work with a great golf coach called Neil Plimmer, and he was, you know, a really good initial first mentor. unfortunately, Mid Sussex changed ownership and my position was made redundant. So I then started to look at other options, and I was really lucky to be invited to join the Cranfield Golf Academy in Rustington, which is actually where I live, down in West Sussex. So it was perfect, and I was there for 9 years, and it was a sort of an amazing place to sort of learn my craft, if you like. So I was fortunate there to work with two fantastic coaches, Scott Cranfield, who's very well known and respected in the coaching industry, and Stephen Orr, both master professionals, so both at the top of their game, if you like, as coaches. And I learned a huge amount from both of them, and just my time really there. So yeah, I just decided after that it might be nice to kind of just have a new adventure. So that's when I then worked at Hurtmore Golf Club, and obviously leaving there to come to Waterlooville and Selsey, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, so I was at Hurtmore for 2.5 years. I'm just finishing off a few lessons there, obviously because I've had COVID over Christmas. I've had to reschedule a few sessions, but I'm really looking forward to kind of starting on the 4th of January at Waterlooville.
Excellent. No, it's interesting, and it's I didn't know a lot of that myself, so thanks for filling me in. And I know, and obviously I've seen you around in coaching circles, but you've got an impressive CV in terms of qualifications and bits, and I think it might be worth noting. It might take a while, but if you can give maybe just the brief version of your qualifications in terms of coaching.
Yeah, sure. So on my journey, I've been really fortunate to work with county and national squads, and as sort of in recognition of that work that I've done there, both obviously at my home clubs and also with those, I've been recognised by the PGA. And initially, once you qualify, you're a PGA professional, and then you become an advanced professional if you have enough sort of skills and experience, and then following that was fellow professional, which obviously earlier this year they switched around all the different specialties, or started to introduce some specialties to recognise that actually some PGA professionals kind of have different roles, I suppose, in the industry. So I switched that from fellow to specialist. So I'm PGA specialist coach, and one step away from master, so that's my goal, is to work towards that. And then on the side of that, I've obviously been doing my academic qualifications. So I actually didn't go to university. I left school at 18 and did some traveling, and I suppose for those of you who haven't been to university, I joined you at the University of Life. So when I started my PGA training, that was a bit of a shock to the system to do the foundation degree, which for those of you that don't know is a 3-year distance learning course. You can do it as I don't know if it's a BA or a BSc at the University of Birmingham, but obviously the headquarters of the PGA are based in Birmingham, so they have strong links with Birmingham University. So I did my foundation degree there, as you will have done, James, and a few years later, I suppose inspired by Stephen Orr, I actually started on the road to the Masters. Because I hadn't been to university before, I had to do an advanced certificate in coaching. So that was a 1-year kind of just to bring your degree up to a full degree level, basically. And then from there, I was able to start the postgraduate diploma, which is a 2-year distance learning course. I did take a break, and then I completed my Masters this year, and I just recently graduated a few weeks ago, so really excited to get that under my belt. And I'm considering a PhD, but we'll see.
Well, no, we certainly, I think here we'd love to have a doctor coaching, and definitely a master professional as well. So we'll look forward to you achieving that. So in terms of the membership here, what can they kind of expect from a lesson with you? What kind of tools do you use? What would the experience be like?
Sure. So I list quite a few technologies that I use. I've used TrackMan. I've got TrackMan of my own. I know you've got the GC Quad there, so I'll obviously have to just get my head around and learn that, which hopefully it won't be too dissimilar to TrackMan. I'm sure it won't be. And I use like a balance mat, which gives information on pressure, forces, and how you use the ground, how you sort of switch your weight transfer, and just how you move generally, which obviously leads to more power and things like that in your golf swing, which obviously quite important information. So, and I use technology really to help me get information about where you're at now. So when you're starting, what's your start point, what's your baseline, and how can we improve that? And I just really use technology to help provide feedback. So whilst it might to some people be a little bit scary that there's lots of technology and technical information there, you don't need to worry about that. Obviously that's for me to look at, and I may bring your attention to some bits which might be important or relevant for you. Obviously everyone's interested in how far they hit the golf ball, so we'll be looking at information like that. That's obviously quite base information, and you know, when we're using that in a lesson, I try not to be too technical. So whilst there is technical information there, you know, I try to remove that. I try where possible not to use too much of the sort of technical jargon that you might find online. Obviously there's a lot of information out there and people can get overwhelmed. I guess what I try to do is put it into words that everyone will understand. So things that might be relate to everyday tasks or experiences that you may have. So other sports that you may have played, just daily tasks that you might do at home, like using a hammer and nail. Try and sort of just link in movements, and just so it makes it easy to understand and visualize, which is obviously quite important from, you know, if you're trying to change somebody's pattern or introduce a new pattern. My goal as your coach is really to help find that better golfer. So I believe there's a better golfer inside everyone, and as your coach, I'm trying to help draw that out of you. So I'll try and use language and words that sort of make sense to sort of the everyday golfer, if you like. Obviously, as a coach, as you know, James, you have to adapt to every individual in front of you, which is a big challenge and great fun. And I really enjoy that aspect of coaching, is trying to sort of work with that person that you have in front of you. So I do an assessment initially. So that's the first port of call. And that's really our opportunity to kind of get to know each other. And for me to kind of really get a better insight and understanding of you as that player, and how you learn, and, you know, what's important to you, you know, what you're trying to work towards, what you're trying to achieve with your golf. So that for me is the start point, and that's the start of our relationship as player and coach.
Brilliant. Great. I mean, I suppose my last question is, so if a member wants to take advantage of your skills, what's the best way to contact you, and what kind of availability is your plan to be around for them? And yeah, what are your contact details will be there?
Yeah, so hopefully you can put out with the video the link for my email and my phone number. I will also have an online diary system. I'm just trying to, as I said before, just trying to sort out the last few lessons at Hurtmore. I've got a few people there with a number of lessons that are outstanding, which obviously I need to just get done. So over the next few weeks, it'll be a bit bitty, my availability, but obviously the availability will be, you can see it online. So I'm going to mix it up, and obviously I'm going to be working at Selsey as well, so I've got to kind of just juggle those days and try and work it out. So probably the easiest thing to do is just contact me directly, either with your availability, and we'll try and work something out, or you know, email me, WhatsApp me, or phone me, whatever's easier for you. And as I say, I will also have this link to my online diary system, so people can have a look at my availability on there. That's probably the easiest place to see availability.
Yeah. So when I send this video out, hopefully I'll put the information attached to it. Kat, that's great. I think that's a really interesting insight. I think that gives us an idea of what kind of what you're offering. Lots of things I didn't know, so thanks for that. And I'll probably press stop record now, and I'll tell you what I really think about the members. Oh, this is showing my lack of ability here.